नामिने कृपया क्षमतामपराधिजनं कलुषायुतशक्तसुदीननरं सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधवदेवपदम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 1st chapter. Now, the discussion is going on between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning about how devotion is the supreme process, the topmost process by which purification is possible. And then he also explains that without devotion, no process can purify a sinner. Other than devotion, there is no process equivalent to, there is no process competent to clear a sinner from all his sinful activities, reactions. Now we read verse number 19 yesterday. I'll just read it one more time because we have to go through the purport of this. Sakrin manaha Krishna padaravindayo निवेशितं तद गुणरागी यैरिह न ते यमं पाशभृतश्च तद्भटान् स्वप्ने अपि पश्यन्ति हि चीर्ण निष्कृताः। जे सकल पुरुष এই संसारे एक बार मात्र कृष्णपाद पद्मे मनोनिवेश करियाছেন যথার্থ অনুভব তো দূরের কথা যাহাদের চিত্ত শ্রীকৃষ্ণের গুণাবলীর প্রতি কিঞ্চিন মাত্রও অনুরক্ত হইয়াছে অর্থাৎ যাহাদের রত্যাভাস মাত্রও উদিত হইয়াছে তাহাদের উহাতেই সমস্ত প্রায়শ্চিত্ত সাধিত হইয়াছে। All atonements are complete as soon as one can remember the Lord even once. If one can submit their mind to Supreme Lord even very minimum, he has no complete realization, but he has submitted at the feet of the Supreme Lord, then he would have done all kinds of atonements. All atonements are complete by that. A person may not have got attachment completely, realization of Supreme Lord, but he has got very, very minute or the slightest, attachment. The slightest. He has no, lot of attachment is not there. There is no realization of the Lord and his, forms, but very slight understanding of the Supreme Lord is there. Even that is enough. He would have completed all kinds of atonements. Means previously he told that karma, even by karma, by performing an activity which is described in the scriptures, one may think that one might have freed himself from all sinful actions. It is not possible because his tendency to commit sin is not finished. In jnana, even though he has burnt all the karmic reactions through knowledge, but the bija, the root of sin is still remaining. But when it comes to devotion, he is telling that even if one remembers the Lord for some time, may not be always, just by that one is purified. Means devotion is so supreme, just like, Chintamani, philosopher's stone, touchstone. When the touchstone is made to touch the, iron, the iron is immediately converted to gold. Now, it does not necessarily mean that the touchstone has to be put in the contact with the iron for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, then it will become gold. No. As soon as it comes in contact with it, it immediately turns to gold. In a similar manner, one may not perform lots of devotion. Just even a fraction, a minutest remembrance of the Supreme Lord itself is sufficient to purify a person from all sinful activities. This is the supremacy of devotion. There is no path which can truly and completely purify a living entity from sinful actions. So much so, here it is told, so much so that even in dream, one will not have darshan of the messengers of God of death. They will not have to even see Yamaraj and his subordinates. If one performs devotion, one remembers the Lord even for a fraction of a second. That is the beauty of Krishna Bhakti or devotion, or that is the power, that it is immediately purifying a living entity. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, "Ei bishaye bhakti bhumikarau अर्थात साधु कृपा महत सेवा श्रद्धा इत्यादि चतुर्दश भक्ति भूमिकारो कोनो अपेक्षा नहीं." There are various stages, platforms of devotion: serving the sadhus, having faith in the Lord, and then mercy of the sadhus. Like that, there are several stages and there are several aspects of devotion. But one may not have performed even all of these activities also. One may not undergo all of these, mercy of the sadhu, or remembering the Lord, or having faith in the Lord, serving the sadhus, etc. One may not have to even go through this process. Simply, Jahara Bhagavan Sri Krishner Padapadma Jugale Tadiya Gunanuragi নিজ চিত্তকে একবার মাত্র বিনিষ্ট করিতে সমর্থ হইয়াছেন, তাহারা যমরাজ বা তাহার অনুচরগণকে স্বপ্নেও দর্শন করেন না. If one can submit one's mind even once for some time at the feet of Supreme Lord, then one will be freed from darshan of the messengers of God of death. One may not have to do, sadhu seva, serving the sadhus, or this or that, simply by remembering once. That is why in the scriptures there are different processes. Tirtha Yatra is one of it. Tirtha Yatra means going to the darshan of the Lord. Take darshan of the Lord at various pastime places. Why? When we are going there, we will partially remember at least, oh, there that particular pastime has taken place. It is said, a person who wants to, take darshan of Ganga, take bath in Ganga, he has set his journey from the house. But he died on the way. He could not reach Ganga. He died on the way. But still, he will receive the result of taking bath in Ganga. Even though he has not reached Ganga, he has not taken bath in Ganga, but because he had started his journey thinking that he will take bath in Ganga, that itself is purifying. That is the glory. So in the scriptures, there are different processes that are mentioned so that we will remember Supreme Lord by some or other means. By some or other means, we remember Supreme Lord. That is the process in the scriptures that are given. Remembrance of the Lord is supremely purifying. Remembrance is one of the limbs of devotion. But here, we are not talking about remembering the Lord constantly, like Prahlad Maharaj. He had exemplified in the Smarana Bhakti. There are 9 processes of devotion. Smarana is one, remembrance is one. And Prahlad Maharaj had exemplified in this. He constantly remembered the Supreme Lord even though he was in dangers. He was put into very testing and challenging situations, but still he remembered Supreme Lord under all circumstances. We are not talking even about that, thinking the Lord always. Here, Sukadeva Goswami is telling that even faint remembrance of the Lord is enough to, free one from the sinful actions. You don't get to see Yamadharmaraj means your sins will be purified by remembering. এখানে সকৃত একবারও যাহারা মনঃ নিবেশিত করিয়াছেন তাহা অপেক্ষা যাহারা সর্বদাই মন নিবিষ্ট করিয়াছেন তাহাদের কথা কি বক্তব্য. It is said that even for fraction of a second, even for some time, one remembers Lord, then he will be purified from all sinful activities. Then what to speak of a person who is constantly remembering the Lord? By telling this, the supremacy of devotion is being established. In the devotional process, by remembering Lord even faintly, one will be purified means what to speak of a person who is constantly remembering the Supreme Lord? No need to speak about that. Means one will be ultimately benefited, supremely benefited by constant remembrance. But even by faint remembrance, one is purified. কেবল মনঃ তাহাতে আবার যাহারা শ্রোত্রাদিও নিবিষ্ট হইয়াছেন তাহাদের বিষয়ে অধিক কি বক্তব্য থাকিতে পারে. Now, if one is remembering and also one is hearing about Supreme Lord, the result is even more. You see, how much ever you are adding, it is only increasing the sweetness. Sugar, the more you put, it is only increasing further and further. Just faint remembrance, one is purified. If one is always remembering, what can be said about it? And on top of it, if one is hearing also about Supreme Lord constantly, what to speak about it? Means if one performs Shuddha Bhakti, nothing to say that he will not be purified or anything like that. Simply a faint remembrance is be purified. The more sugar you put, the more sweet it will become. The sweet will only increase and increase. এবং সেই মন গুণরাগী, ভগবত গুণের কথা দূরে থাকুক, যদি বিষয়াসক্ত হয় তাহাতে আবার যদি বিষয়াসক্তি রহিত হয় তাহার সম্বন্ধে অধিক কি? So even a materially motivated or materially attached mind, even for some time he will have got attachment to Supreme Lord. What to speak of the result? Our mind has attachment to material things. So much material attachment is there, constantly thinking about the material enjoyment. If that material mind, if he has got even a faint attachment to the Lord's glories, to the glories of Supreme Lord, what benefit he will get cannot be mentioned. स्वप्ने अपि यमानुचर गणेर दर्शन पान्ना ताहते अबार साक्षाते दर्शनेर प्रश्न की. If one will not see the Yamadutas even in the dream, what to speak of directly seeing them? It's not possible. One will not see the Yamadutas in the dream nor in the front directly. So by all these things, what Sukadeva Goswami is telling is that there is no process equal to devotion. In karma, there is a chance of fall down. Fall down means because the tendency has not changed. In jnana, there is a tendency to fall down. We heard yesterday, a person who has not submitted to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, but thinks that he is delivered because he has got knowledge, patati adaha, he is going to face a very, very severe fall down because anadara yasmad ushmadangreya, because he has not respected or he has not thoroughly got attachment to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Means there is no shelter. We heard that if one has taken shelter of mother and father, they will take care of the child. The complete responsibility goes in the hands of the father and the mother. But if the child wants to do everything by himself or by herself, if the child wants to become independent of mother and father, whatever suffering, enjoyment, whatever is coming, the child has to undergo. There will not be any support. So here in devotion, when one surrenders completely to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, there is no question of fall down there. तावन्मात्र ध्याने अर्थात अतटुकु ध्यान मात्रे चीर्ण निष्कृता, चीर्ण अर्थात कृत हइया च निष्कृत बोलिते समस्त पापेर प्रायश्चित जाहादेर द्वारा ताहारा. And here चीर्ण निष्कृता means even by the slightest remembrance, if one's sins are completely destroyed, what to speak of constant remembrance. এখানে সকৃত একবারও ইত্যাদি পদের উল্লেখবশতঃ কোনো শুদ্ধ ভক্তের যদি দৈবাত পাপ সমূহের পুনঃ পুনঃ অনুষ্ঠানও হয়, তাহা হইলেও উৎখাত দন্ত সর্পের দংশনের ন্যায় তাহা অকিঞ্চিত করেই হইয়া থাকে. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is now bringing a new dimension to this particular purport. He is telling that even by remembering once, one will be completely purified. Also means when a pure devotee who is in constant remembrance of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, if sometimes he commits some sinful action also, there is a possibility. And he also says if not sometimes, repeatedly also if he commits sinful action, then still he will not be affected by sinful reactions. You understand the point? No, you understand? She understood. A Shuddha Bhakta is constantly remembering Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, but if sometimes, even if he performs some sinful action, and that too repeatedly also, still that will not have any bad influence on the devotee. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur gives an example. Just like a venomous snake is there, a very poisonous snake is there. The teeth of that poisonous snake has been removed. If that snake bites, that will have no poisonous effect. Understand? Even if the snake without the poisonous teeth or tongue, whatever you may say, if that snake bites, there is no effect, poisonous effect. In a similar manner, the poisonous effect of the sinful activities will never touch up your devotee, even sometimes he may have committed some sinful action. So, in Srimad Bhagavatam particularly, the devotion to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the completeness of all the process is in devotion only. And how devotion is supreme is established in Srimad Bhagavatam throughout. Even though at places we see that about karma, jnana is being spoken. At certain places about jnana is also spoken. In Kapila Samvad you also see that he talks about Sankhya Yoga. There are different narrations, but ultimately all of them are brought to the point that devotion is supreme. Because for us sometimes, or many a times, if we say devotion is topmost, it's very difficult for us to accept. Therefore, there is a gradual process. Okay, karma. We are going through Rai Ramananda's, discussion with Mahaprabhu. Very nice conversation. If directly Rai Ramananda says, Mahaprabhu asked, what is Sadhyasar? What is the topmost object of goal of life? If Rai Ramananda does not, he does not know, it is not that. Rai Ramananda knows what is the topmost goal of life. He would have told Krishna Prem is the goal of life. Finished. Discussion is complete. But he did not say that. He started saying, Swadharmacharane Vishnu Bhakti. While you are situated in your own dharma, you perform Vishnu Bhakti. That is the goal of life. Mahaprabhu says, no, this is external, go further. Why? Because we will not be able to understand. Yesterday we heard there is a negative way of understanding, there is a positive way, direct and indirect ways. Directly this, if we are not able to, indirectly, oh, not this, not this, not this, not this, yes, this is this. So, unfortunately, people like us, conditioned souls, we learn hard lessons in a hard manner. In the sense, when they are directly told, do like this, we will not learn. But when we experience that, oh yes, now we understand. So, for that reason, this process is being told. Sukadeva Goswami, he could have directly told about bhakti. And of course he told about bhakti only in entire Srimad Bhagavatam. But why to Parikshit Maharaj he talked about karma in the first place? You perform karma to free yourself from sinful actions. Why did he say that? Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur very nicely writes whether Parikshit Maharaj is attentively hearing or not. In order to tell this, Sukadeva Goswami said this. Sukadeva Goswami is, a Krishnarpita prana. He has given himself completely to Sri Krishna. He was in, Brahmananda earlier. but he is now in Krishna Premananda. That person is talking that you have to perform karma. How is it possible? It is impossible. But he is just saying whether Parikshit is attentively hearing or not. If he is attentively hearing, then he should have such a doubt. Why karma? By this process, this is a shortcoming. And slowly and gradually, it's being established that devotion is topmost. And now in this verse it's being told, forget about pure devotion, complete devotion, even when gut comes in contact faintly with devotion. Just like when we are passing through the fire is burning. You don't have to stand there for long. Just by passing through the fire, you will immediately realize the heat. Isn't it? You don't have to really be standing there. If you stand there, what to speak of it? Your body will slowly get heated up, particularly for the winters I am talking about. Not for the summers. You don't want to go next to the fire in the summers. But when you are standing there, what to speak of it? You are able to heat up your body. In a similar manner, just by the faint contact with devotion, one will be purified from all the sins. And here he is telling that a devotee who is constantly remembering, if for some reason he commits some sinful action, he will not be affected by that karma, just like the snake, poisonous snake, if the teeth or the tongue, I don't know what you call that, of the snake, when it is removed, with which it bites, then there is no poisonous effect. In a similar manner, tahate tahake paper falabhog va prayaschitta kurite hoy na. Because they are already remembering the Lord, they are already doing the process of devotion. Even if they have committed some sinful action, they don't have to undergo another kind of prayaschitta, means atonement. That atonement is already, devotion is already happening. Therefore, if one has committed any mistake, any sin, the best form of atonement is performing Lord's name more and more, hearing Krishna Katha more and more. This is the atonement. We don't have to follow any other process to atone, free ourselves from sinful actions. अतएव एखाने हस्ती स्नानेर न्याय आक्षेपेर विषयी भाव अनुचितई. So, this is, I can say, a warning to all of us that if a devotee by mistake commits some kind of sinful action, we don't have to be harsh on that person. It is not like a karmi's atonement. Previously it is said that a karmi, when he has performed some good karma, but his tendency to commit sin is not gone, just like it is compared to a bathing of an elephant. But here in the case of devotion, it is not so. It is not so. Because very soon a devotee will realize that I have committed a mistake, that I have committed a sin. His tendency to commit sin is not there, but it has happened accidentally. So very soon he will realize his mistake. He will perform devotion more seriously to purify himself from whatever sinful actions he has done. He is already on the right path. He is following the path by which purification is possible. So he does not have to perform activity other than devotion to purify. No separate endeavor is required to purify himself. That's why here it's being told that there is no point in blaming. We should not blame. Even if a devotee has committed some kind of sinful action, he should not be blamed for it. যেমন শ্রী গীতাযুক্ত হইয়াছে অপিচেত সুদুরাচারো. There is, in the 9th canto of 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Apichet Suduracharo, means Sudurachar. Durachar means a sinner. Sudurachar means a great sinner, a greatest sinner. So, a one may be a very, very great sinner. Bhajate mam ananya bhav. But he is performing my bhajan, means he has not given up my bhajan. But due to some of his previous karmic actions, now he is engaged in some sinful activity. It is possible. Sadhureva samantavya. You understand him to be sadhu. Samyak vyavasto hisa, because he is on the right path. That person is on the right path. Therefore, don't think him to be ordinary and commit offense to him. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Shashvat chanti nigacchati. Immediately, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Very soon he will become dharmatma. Means he will realize his mistake. It's not like those who are performing devotion and constantly doing sins also. No problem, no problem. Not that. Not such persons. Those persons who are having the, what do you call, what is the word? Sometimes I don't get the right word. Those who are ashamed of their bad activities. Those who are constantly thinking that, oh, I have committed mistake, I have committed mistake. He is repenting. Yes, repenting is the right word. So he is repenting constantly. He is not, enjoying doing it, but he is repenting. Very soon, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Very soon he will become a dharmatma. Shashvat chanti nigacchati. And then he will immediately come to the path of permanent peace. Kaunteya pratijanihi, my dear son of Kunti, Arjuna, tell to everyone, Name bhakta pranasyati, my devotee has no fall down. The Lord is telling that, my dear Arjuna, declare it very boldly that my devotee has no fall down. So, the Lord himself is giving this assurance. But we should be repentful. Pure devotee will be repentful. Repent means, you understand repent? No. Feel sorry. No, we are feeling sorry for if we have done some bad activity. I am feeling very sorry. Not that, oh, very nice. Okay, no problem. He should get that. Not like that. Feeling sorry and repenting from inside. So, this is very, very important. Then, that is why pure devotee, even if sometimes by mistake some kind of a sinful activity happens also, we should not be very, very critical with him. We should not blame, we should not be critical on such persons. Atra choda harambhi mamitihasang puratanam dutanam Vishnu yamayoh samvadantam niboda me. এই বিষয়ে पंडितगण একটি পুরাতন ইতিহাস দৃষ্টান্ত স্বরূপ কীর্তন করিয়া থাকেন. So in this matter, our previous sages, they talk about one particular episode. বিষ্ণুদূত ও যমদূতের সংবাদ সংবলিত সেই ইতিহাসটি আমার নিকট শ্রবণ করো. Now you hear attentively this particular conversation between Vishnudutas and Yamadutas, the messengers of God of death and the messengers of Vishnu. Hear very attentively this particular episode that great sages talk about. They talk about how devotion is so pure that even the greatest of the sinners will be purified just by faint remembrance. Ajamila, just, he called his son's name Narayana. He had a faint remembrance of the Lord. That's all. He was not performing bhajan or anything, but faint remembrance. With that, he is purified. So then after that, there is a conversation between the messengers of God of death and messengers of Vishnu. Our previous acharyas, they talk about this particular episode. Now, my dear Parikshit, I will tell you that episode. Listen attentively. So, Sukadeva Goswami has not just spoken, he has given a statement, but he is now, substantiating it with an example that he has heard previously. এই বিষয়ে প্রাচীন पंडितगण একটি পুরাতন উদাহরণ দিয়া থাকেন. So, in order to mention or while mentioning about the supremacy of devotion and about the statement, but even by little remembrance of the Supreme Lord one is purified from all sins, our previous acharyas or learned scholars, they talk about one particular episode, an example. So now I am going to speak about that example. You hear that Vishnudut or Yamadut Ganerje Samvad, the discussion between the Vishnudutas and Yamadutas, Taha Amar Nikat Hoite Shravan Karo. Now listen from me attentively. Then you will understand how devotion is topmost. So we will stop here, and then from tomorrow onwards, the Ajamila's story and principally the discussion between Vishnudutas and Yamadutas we are going to read. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Panchatattvatmak Shri Gaura Hari ki jai. Paramaraditam patita pavana stotra sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishnom Vishnu Padmam stotra sata Shri Srimad भक्ति दयित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय. श्री श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. जय सर्व विघ्न विनाशनकारी भक्तवत्सल भगवान श्री सिंह देव की जय. भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय. श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेदव्यास महामुनि की जय. जय सुखदेव गोस्वामी परीक्षित महाराज की जय. जय श्रीमद् भागवत श्रवणकारी भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.